Today I'm going to interview my friend and neighbor, Nettie White. Nettie moved into Epworth in July of 2019 with her little dog, Bella. That's a little white fur ball that we all adopted. She is on 1 North and she is our floor rep, but you probably know her best from the Wellness Center. She frequents the wellness classes and the pool, and she plays games. She plays chicken foot and Mexican train, and everybody wants Nettie at their table because Nettie is a really good sport and a whole lot of fun. And so I've asked Nettie today to bring a show and tell, but first we want to talk about her childhood. So Nettie, tell me where you were born.
Well, I grew up out in the Panhandle in Cimarron County at the very end of the Panhandle in Oklahoma. And I was actually born in Elkhart, Kansas because, but anyway. And I grew up there. I went to school there 1 through 12 years, and the little town might have had 500 people. I don't know if we had that many or not, but we might have at that time. And we had a beautiful school. When they built a brand new school we moved into it in 1957-58, and I was a junior in high school at that time. And it had an indoor swimming pool and a big auditorium. Let's see, I'm trying to think what else. It had a separate gymnasium and then all the classrooms.
All of that, but your class was very small, right?
Yes, it was. Do you know, the class ahead of us probably had 25 or a little more, in the same way with the one behind us, but we only had 7 in our graduating class.
It's hard to find a boyfriend.
Yes, it was. You're right.
Did you have a prom?
We did.
Oh, cool.
We did have a prom. I did not have a date.
Oh, holy mackerel. Okay. Well, college must have been a shock for you, coming from there.
Yeah, somewhat, I guess. Yes, I went not very far to college. It was about an hour away because I went to Panhandle State University. I don't think it was called Panhandle State at that time. But anyway, yes, I went there for a year and a half. I actually took a lifeguard class my second semester while I was at Panhandle State. And then when I went back to Keys that summer, I actually was lifeguard in the pool, which I really did enjoy.
Right.
Then started my sophomore year again, and then I got married, and so I didn't go ahead, and I wasn't able to finish school there. We moved around a lot, and so I went to school wherever I could, and eventually I was able to finish at Manhattan, Kansas. I'm from Kansas State, and I also did my master's there.
And you were a teacher?
And I was a teacher, yes.
How long? How long did you teach?
For about 25 years. Now, when I ended up teaching, I was actually a counselor, a high school counselor.
And was that your favorite?
It was really my favorite thing, and I'll tell you what I did and why. Is because I enjoyed the students that I knew were not going to go to college, and I worked with them. We had a great Votech Center, and I just loved those kids, and I worked a lot with them. And I even taught at night we had a school for dropouts. Many of them had jobs in the daytime, and so I would teach there at night. And you're not going to believe this. I can't believe it when I think about it. I taught English. And that was not my thing.
Well, you were home ec.
I was home ec, that is right. And but I enjoyed that so much.
Well, Nettie, we're going to talk about your 2 brilliant sons. So tell me, where do they live?
Okay, Michael is the oldest one, and he lives in Vancouver, Washington. And Patrick is the one that lives in Ardmore, Oklahoma. I'm closest to him right now. Yes.
Well, I promised show and tell, so I had you bring one of Michael's inventions.
Yes.
Michael is an inventor. He's got lots of inventions and patents, and so you brought something to demonstrate to us some of his inventions. So show us first of all.
Okay, first of all, I want to tell you something about where he went to college.
Okay, good.
He actually went to Stanford. He
yes.
was actually into the science fairs, and all 4 years of his high school, he went to the science fair and won. He won trips. He won trip to Europe his senior year, and so anyway, he applied at Stanford and went, and he got into computers, and he wrote a game for the Apple computer.
Right.
And at that time, Steve Jobs said it was the best game that had been written for the computer, for the Apple computer at that time.
Amazing.
It's on YouTube now. It's called
Right.
Robot Odyssey.
And do you have something from that game? I mean, is that it?
Okay, he actually dropped out of college. You know, whenever he did this game and what have you, and he felt like college was holding him back. So in 2010, Mike had one of the top 10 toys on the market. And it was this Paper Jams. It's a guitar for children, and it runs off of batteries, and it has 3 this one has rock type music in it. And they can strum it when they turn it on, put the batteries in it and turn it on. You know, the strings are not really there, but when they strum it, it plays. And so that was, it was a big seller. Here's one that, of course, I have a collection of them, and I think they're really probably, this is a pink one for a girl.
Right,
you know.
right.
And they may be collector's items now, but they were a big seller in 2010.
And then he did something with a drink.
Yes, he did. Mike did. He created the perfect drink. This is the scale for the perfect drink. And you'll notice that, you know, it does not have a cord to plug in. It does not have a battery in it. And it's because it runs off of Bluetooth on your telephone.
And there's an app on your phone.
And there's an app on the phone for the perfect drink. And it's very simple. You hook, you know, it'll be hooked up to your phone. You put the glass on there, and immediately the app takes the weight of the glass away. And before I tell you this, I should tell you that in the app, you can actually, if you have a liquor cabinet with some liquor already in it, you can download that into the app, and then the app will come up with drinks that you could actually make from things that you have on hand.
So, and he's got one for baking, and he's got one for smoothies.
This same scale is used for baking also. That is right. And works the same way. Lots and lots of recipes. In fact, they're the kind of apps that you'll have to upgrade once in a while because they keep adding to them.
Right, cool.
Okay, and then like on the perfect drink, you set your glass on here, and then it just immediately takes the weight of the glass away, and then as you start to pour, and on the app, it will actually show you the color. Everything that you put in the drink is going to be a different color, because when you pour it in, the first one, and you can look at it on your phone, and you can tell when you've almost got to the line, so you slow down, and then it'll ding. Then you pick up the next one, and it's a different color, and it starts up. And then it dings. It depends on how many pieces, you know, whatever the recipe calls for. Then you can pour it into this with ice in it. It'll tell you that too. You can put it in there with ice, pour it in, and then it actually tells you to shake it and how long to shake it. And then you'll know when to quit shaking it. You take it out, and you pour it into the glass.
Well,
You can either make a drink or a pitcher, whichever you want to do.
right. That is cool. And so he has a whole lot of inventions. These are just a couple of things that you had that were mobile you could bring
That
to
is
it.
right.
But he has apps that you put on your phone. I am assuming that he is financially secure.
Very much so. Do you know the paper jams between Walmart and Kmart in 2010 sold over 1 million of them?
Mhm.
Yes. And so, yes, he's done very well.
Well, tell us what Patrick's doing in Ardmore.
Okay, Patrick is he graduated as an MD, as in oral surgery from Oklahoma Medical Center.
A slacker, huh?
Yeah, right.
Well, where do these boys get all these brilliant intellectual capabilities, you think?
Well, not for me. Well, but you know what? I was valedictorian of my class of 7.
Well, you do beat me in chicken foot. All right. Well, I happen to know you have a very special hobby, and one that's prominent. So tell us about that a little bit.
Okay. When I was teaching home economics in Conoway, Oklahoma, Kelly Haney was in the House of Representatives. I'm pretty sure it was House of Representatives then. And he was visiting our school. Well, it happened to be my planning period. And he came in to talk to me. And I told him, that I was a quilter and that I was teaching an adult class at night, quilting. And we talked for a little while. And just not very long before that, they had adopted the gaillardia as the state wildflower. And he asked me if I would be interested in making a quilt that represents the state wildflower of the gaillardia. So I did. And I think it took me about 2 years to make it. And then it was presented with him there, and Governor Nye was governor at that time because it was in 1986. And yes, that's.
And it was hung in the Capitol.
It hung in the Capitol. That is
Yes.
right. Now, the last time I was there, they were remodeling the Capitol, and it wasn't there, but that was.
If you have some newspaper articles about
Yes, I
that.
do. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, what brought you to Epworth? How did you get to Epworth?
Do you know? I like to be on my phone, and I started thinking about senior places to live and retirement places. And I have 2 sons, and I thought, I'm not ever going to move in with either one of them. And I started to just use my phone to look, and I actually visited several. And that's how I got, I guess, the advertisement, whenever you're looking that way, things come up. And I actually saw the one at Epworth, and I called and came and visited at, one of their meetings, and it just happened from there.
Well, you're a natural.
Well, I love it here. I really do.
Thanks, Nettie. It was great.
Thank you.
So now you see why you can never be bored or never be sad when Nettie's around. She's a really good sport, and that was a lot of fun, Nettie. Thank you.